It's daybreak on Arise News, and it's time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive. Let's just give us a moment there, and we will get that working. All right. Let's first look at this day. APC moves to retain Buni as interim chairman, Bello as his acting. It has about 3 riders or thereabout. John Akpanodode's fate uncertain. Group alleges fresh plot to sack Yobe governor through court injunction. Party moves to have court injunction stopping convention vacated. All right, that's the major story. But Osinbajo, if you just look just above that, Osinbajo, Buhari and I have not had any religious dispute in 7 years. But the writer wants religion to be used for unity, improvement of people's lives, instead of the opposite. And just above the logo of this day, fuel scarcity to end in a matter of days, says the federal government. Let's go on to some other papers.
The Punch newspaper this morning, leading headline here, Buni may head APC convention, uncertainty surrounds zoning. Some riders to that story. President asked Yobe governor to lead party to national summit. Adamu may lose out as party throws open chairman seat tussle. Osinbajo to meet state chairman ahead of presidential bid declaration. Leading photo in front of the Punch newspaper this morning, the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and other officials during their visit to hospitals in the Kiev region. Photoed by AFP. Now above the nameplate of the Punch this morning, Gencos disagree with TCN over outages, blame weak transmission.
A quick look at the Nation newspaper. APC chair pressure mount on Buhari to drop Adamu. IMF to help Nigeria and others on debt and tax. 2023. The People's Democratic Party opens talks with ex-governors, senators and representatives. And the PDP does not belong to Wike. That's according to Obaseki. And the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria laments 720 naira per litre diesel price as aviation fuel hits 600 naira per litre.
All right, Tribune, Nigerian Tribune, as diesel hits 720 naira. Manufacturers Association of Nigeria man cries to federal government with a rider how federal government plans to reverse fuel scarcity that is coming from the presidency. APC still in the news, just below the picture there. Odds favor Buni with about 4 riders. Why APC is rethinking opposition to his leadership. APC governors regrouping behind him. Let us take heed to Buhari's admonition that is coming from Mustafa. My plans for women youths, that's coming from Sani Musa. And just above the logo there, the masthead, why federal government must prevent another indefinite ASU strike. This is coming from stakeholders.
Some international papers this morning. Let's begin with the Times. Leading with the Russia-Ukraine crisis, it says war reaches NATO border. Russia strikes base 15 miles from Poland, while Putin asks Chinese for military help. Oligarchs' home set to house refugees.
The Financial Times, Moscow threatened to pay debt in rubles, raises risk of first default since 1998.
All right, Daily Express, the headline there, Putin's missile strike brings war to NATO's border. We'll see how that pans out. Oscar winner William Hart dies, age 71.
And for the press preview, let's bring in Emmanuel Bello, who joins us from our offsite studio this morning. Emmanuel, good morning. Good to have you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let's take a look at this day newspaper, leading with the APC crisis. Like I said last week, the election times are upon us, and we'll definitely be taking a look at all the party crises and preparations as they get ready for March 26 convention, if that takes place. Now, this day newspaper says APC moves to retain Buni as interim chairman, Bello as acting chair, and also John Akpan Udeha's fate is uncertain. Emmanuel, what are your takes on all this happening in the ruling party?
Well, we are seeing the first impact, or impact of what happened at the weekends, the various meetings, especially the president himself taking center stage to, sue together a party that was drifting apart. That letter of his yesterday, or the press release yesterday sent by his spokesperson was very, very strong. Used very strong worded. It was very strong worded, warning the party that it could go the way of the PDP, and that the party shouldn't think that for 7 years because it's been in power. And this is the second time I think the president is warning the APC that, look, those infightings, those intra-parties, inside squabbles of the party can actually derail the party. So he's warning, and even have a strong word for the media, that the media, which I find strange, because I wonder why the president is blaming the media. The media is only reporting what's happening in the APC. But the media did not sack Buni. Neither did the media actually orchestrate all some of the crisis there. The reports we have was that he's the one that sacked Buni, and the media was just reporting what stakeholders within the party are telling it openly on the crises that are going on. So I don't think the media has any thing there. Rather, what the president said to the party is what I think is very important, and I think that's what's playing out now. A situation where they are supposed to get their act together and deal with the crisis of the leadership hurdles that they are faced with. I think most of the crisis came to a head when INEC said, look, we're not recognizing anyone other than the chairman that the president sacked. So it's not the fault of anyone. It's to some extent it was a good thing that the president himself is weighing on it, because everything pointed to his direction, that as the leader of the party, it's up to him to decide what's going to happen to the party or not. And yesterday he was very strong about it and said, look, let's forget this. He even said no one cared about who is the leader of the party. No one cares about those things. Nigerians or party faithful are more concerned about the convention coming. That might be true, and that's what the Governor Sani Bello has been saying all along since he took over, that look, the big picture here is let's have a convention, because if they have that convention on the 26th, all the issue of whether who is sacking who or not might not just be the issue. They will be now dealing with the crisis, like some people are reporting, the crisis of who emerges as the national chairman of the party. That seems to be the direction. That seems to be what everyone is looking at, not who you are sacking a few days to the convention. So the direction now is to have this convention by all means. The president seemed to be very dedicated to it. We saw pictures of the Kano State governor even already inspecting the grounds at Eagle Square where they're going to have this. So that's the stated part of the party now, which is the fact that they are more concerned about having a convention, and also how to deal with some of those lingering. So they're just finding ways around it. There are all sorts of things, with even the president saying no one was sacked, so no one should be reinstated, and all sorts of things. The rest of us as countrymen are watching to see how this party, which is actually a ruling party, and the way it goes, that's how the nation is going, to see that they get their act together, have a convention, and then we have some form of direction to it.
Emmanuel, big news dropping this morning. Credible reports from the Daily Trust newspaper and some other sources saying that the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has told the President, Muhammadu Buhari, that he intends to contest for the position of President come 2023. How significant is this news, and what changes in the equation?
Well, it's going to be the dominant discussion today, and it's probably one of the biggest political news emanating. I saw the story earlier now on our network, and I just told myself and told some people around me that, well, this is a big one. It's going to be a game changer already. This day was also reporting about his relationship with the president, where he said, for 7 years, I've worked with this man and we've never had a religious difference. Tells you something about the nature of the vice president, his personality, his persona, the way he likes to say the things he's saying, his professorial bent, that has actually really endeared him to so many people, even though there are people who say that, look, the man who is a boss, or who made you, or who suggested your positions and all that, his boss, Bola Tinubu is also in this race, you probably will not. And up to yesterday, there were people who were still saying that probably the vice president had no plans to run. But with this, it's so clear, and I think that must have energized his base, who have been calling him out and saying he should make a pronouncement, an official pronouncement. Last week, some of his handlers said that he was going to say something about it. So with this story, the course is clear now. Are we going to see a showdown between a boss and his protege, or are we going to see a man taking his own place in the annals of history? He's done very well as a vice president, gotten a lot of accolades in the way he has presented himself. And what he just said about him and the president is also very significant, reported in this day newspaper, where he said, look, I've worked with this president for 7 years. We've never had any altercation on the grounds of pastor. And he said, look, he's a serious Muslim, I'm a pastor. And that's, for him, is very, very symbolic of the religious harmony, the kind of harmony he thinks he can bring on board as if he becomes president. People said, look, this is a man that has discharged his duties very well. So what remains now is for us to start fact-checking those claims. How popular is he? How acceptable is he? How is the platform going to accept him? Is he going to enjoy the support of all the various sectors? So I think this will be the big kind of story we'll be doing as we critique and fact-check on some of his claims to popularity and to acceptance by all sides. But a lot of Nigerians will tell you that, well, as a vice president, they've watched him. Though some will say that he's a bit theoretical and professorial in the way he says things. But then several times the vice president had cause to actually even sit on the saddle as as the acting president when the president is away. And some people say he's done very well. So these are the sort of conversations that will be going on around the personality, the president of the vice president, to be or not to be. We watch. It's going to be an interesting, but it's a very extraordinary kind of development that has happened this morning.
Indeed, Imala, because politics is a game of numbers and not just talk. Well, pressure is mounting on the president concerning Adamu. Pressure from where? And it's looking like it's an open field. Internal democracy, you would say, at work?
Well, yeah, especially because, last week or weeks before now, there's been this talk that the president have actually made up his mind already, who is going to be the chair of the APC. And I think why this is very important for so many people, and we're even talking about this, because people just want to get this done with. The PDP already has its chair in place. Since last year, they had a convention, and it's not a big deal. They produced Professor Ayu. So some people want to still see the PDP, the APC do that and get over with it. And it's a very strong race there with so many people. If you go around town, those billboards are still there. So talks that the president had foreclosed the ambition of some people by choosing the former governor of Nasarawa State really annoyed some people who thought, look, that would have been some kind of it's a fiat kind of a thing. Though some people will say the president too might want to know who is going to take over the party as the leader of the party, but people want a level playing field. And from those pressures that we're reporting now, seems as if the president will be opening the space more for those who really want to run for the chairmanship of the party. When that happens, the party will have been showcasing itself as a democratic one. Of course, consensus candidate is also not totally out of the works, and it's not totally undemocratic in the way we do our own things here. So, but allowing more people to run the way a lot of people have been calling for it is probably what will make the convention a very keenly watched convention in the history of the party itself.
Well, interesting and critical months ahead of us as we cover the 2023 general elections. Thank you so much, Emmanuel Bello. That's the press preview here on Daybreak.